and welcome once again to the How Long to Beat podcast. I'm Rick, joined as always by Paula.
Hello.
This week with HD Rumble. And Alex.
Hello.
Go fuck yourself.
Coming to us in the wake of a, quote, historic, extreme, tropical storm.
Which, just to be clear, is nowhere near where I live, but where my family does live.
This week on the podcast, we are going to, as always, talk about what we've beaten, retired, and been playing. This week's topic is going to be gaming-related things that we like. Gaming adjacent, but not games themselves. And we'll finish out with the second game of a new round of How Long to Beat
To beat
the game.
the game.
If
We're
you ever
getting
needed
there.
proof that I don't pre-prepare these things, I was looking at the numbers and I was like, shit, how many rounds have we played?
This is the fourth,
I think we've played all three. I think this is game week 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're four.
I'm
Anyway,
sorry. It's like
we'll
the
find out
fourth
when we get
round
there.
of our new game. Whatever. We'll talk about it more in a bit.
We'll get there. Alex, Cyberpunk. Tell us more.
Yeah. So I beat Cyberpunk. Great. It's great. I mean, it's been having a crazy resurgence actually this past week. Like they said, CD Projekt Red said over like the past week there have been like 1 million players every day playing, which I'm like, okay, I think we're in the Cyberpunk renaissance, and I think Edge Runners deserves most of the credit for the
I
new
haven't finished it, but
influx.
that anime is fucking incredible.
It's incredible. I finished it and it's really, really good. It's fantastic. And like, to be fair, Cyberpunk is finally actually ready to be played. And so I think I think it's been like that maybe for a little while, but I think even the most recent patch did a fair bit as well to clean things up. And so
Credit where it's due, like CDPR, that wombo combo of the anime, the 1.6 patch, the announcement of the expansion, and also they've been working on it for a couple more years. Like,
and
they've almost whitewashed like the whole bollocks of the last 24 months.
I think they've proven they're committed to it, which I have to give them credit because, you know, we have things like Anthem, right, where it releases and it's like, oh, this is shit. Abandoned.
Well,
shit.
Babylon's Fall, like recently announced,
Yeah.
within a year that server's gone.
Right.
Or those
Yeah.
servers are gone. Not they need more than one server for that player base, but still.
And so at the very least they've maintained, but I also I also kind of get it too though, because it's like it seems like it just makes sense to continuously work on Cyberpunk because it is a good game at its heart. It's not like you're dealing with a game that's like anyway, right? But I don't know, it can be hard to make that call. I personally really enjoyed the end. I got like what I would call like the Nomad end, which I think is the one you did, and I really liked that.
I thought it was a good round ending for sure.
Yeah, I just felt very satisfied with it. I was like, this seems like a really solid, like nice end to the game, and a really fun final mission, which is very, like side kind of like it's very
Call of Duty set PC.
yeah, it's just a set PC thing, which is fine because the game doesn't do that often. So I was like, I'm fine with having one of these kind of moments. It really feels like an immersive sim. First and foremost, like it gave me kind of Deus Ex vibes and like even a little bit Dishonored vibes in some ways, though there's no morality thing. Just in the sense that you can really tackle any situation kind of however you want, which I really enjoyed. Like I did a lot of, I was a weird combination. I was like a sneaking, cyber hacking, shotgun and heavy machine gun wielding character who sometimes just threw everything off and just punched with gorilla arms. Because once I learned that you could do that, really fun. I kind of want to play through again sometime just with a melee build because at first I thought no way that could be fun. It's really fun. Like it's actually
The
quite
melee
good.
combat's shockingly good in that game, for sure.
It is. And like
Especially like you should try with the what do they
Mantis
call
blades.
them? Mantis blades, that's the one. Because they are sick. Like when you upgrade those, you get like a charge jump and you can just fling yourself at enemies. Like it's really good.
Yeah,
And there's like tiny spoiler, you can get good blades really early on, or at least you could in like the 1.0, 1.1 days in one of the Cyber Psycho fights. There's like a chest. I think it's in the Corpo area. One of the fights there's a chest right at the beginning, and you can grab it if you're quick before the fight, or you can go back and get it at the end. And it's got like sick blades in it.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know if I know that they changed a lot when it comes to the loot. Like I noticed anything I was looking at because I remember I was looking for good cyber docs and every guide I found is outdated. because when I went to get them, I was like, oh no, they've changed the requirements, because I think they just did some fair balancing. The one kind of critique that I will give though is that I don't really understand the leveling in this. Like, to me, it doesn't just I guess understand from like a game design perspective, where it's like you want balance and you want the game to sort of like, gradually ramp up and you don't overload, but it also feels a little like I'm being gated out from the playstyle that I want to use for so long that I end up only getting to kind of use that a little bit near the end, it also seems antithetical to the world that they've created, because Cyberpunk is this world of just like, fucking modify your body, bro, like just go to town. And so part of me just kind of was like, I don't know. I wish there was less of this, like, and like the street cred stuff, like, I guess I was sort of like, why do I need street cred to buy things from people? Anyway, I don't know. It's not like a huge complaint or anything. It's something that I feel like I'm like, in some ways it felt like it was in the game just because that's kind of a thing that we have in RPGs. You know what I mean?
I mean, the cred thing, to be fair, it's like, and you see it a little bit reflected in the anime as well. There's things you can just buy, and there's things that you can only buy if you know the right people.
Yeah, and I mean, I get that, but honestly, I would prefer if it was like doing a quest for them. You know what I mean? Like, it like actually.
I think I would as well, but yeah. I get it.
And especially when they have all these gigs, like why aren't the gigs just connected to like, because I know technically they are, right? Like theoretically, the way it works is that like you do a gig and the gigs really boost your street credit, but you can boost street cred in way other ways. And like I was max street cred well before, like I didn't even do it, like not even a quarter of the gigs, because I maxed out my street cred after doing a couple.
I have to say, one thing that looking back is fucking hilarious, and it didn't bother me too much when I played it. In the marketing, the lead up, they made a big thing about like the fixers and the job allocators in each area. So like your Wakakos and your Padres.
Yeah.
It's kind of meaningless.
It's totally.
They have this call at the beginning, and I know there's a couple that you can go and meet. There's that quest line with the gun with the personality where you're supposed to give him back to one of the fixers. Oh. They're so superfluous. Cyberpunk's a weird game where like I had a 10 out of 10 time when I played it. Mm-hmm. I think looking back at it, I only really remember the negatives, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Because the game on the whole was incredible, and I'm sure I'll love it all over again when I go and play it on PC or next gen.
But see, I think
it's such a weird one.
Yeah, but I think what you're hitting at it here though is that it is very fun. Like it is a game that I had a blast with. Like no regrets at all. It's just that because it is quite fun, it's at that point where you're like, now as I think back, I'm like, there are things that I was watching Tim Rogers' Action Button review of Cyberpunk, because I realized once I beat it, I was like, I can watch Tim Rogers' video now.
Watch it now. Yeah. The FF7 remake one, I'm exactly the same. I'm like, I need to play this so I can watch this.
I know, I'm finally like caught up on his things, but he talks about how, and I love he talks about how it's like Cyberpunk 2077 is all games at once, like when it comes to like AAA games, and it really is. It's like trying to be every freaking AAA game. Like it's like Grand Theft Auto, but then it's also being like the immersive sims like Deus Ex and like fucking and then it's got all the RPG elements from modern games. Like when you're thinking of like, it's just there's so much shit in it. Like it's just every modern like what you would like mix of them all together, and it creates what is a very fun game, because I think it takes most of what's good about those games. It even has like a magic system, right? Like, which is cyberhack. And at the same time though, there are things that just feel like they're there for the sake of it in like an open world sense, because I think the world they made is fucking beautiful. Like I love Night City. It's incredible to spend time in. Like I there's definitely moments where I just walked around Night City for a little bit, just looking at shit, because it was really cool. And that's why I think I was so disappointed that the fixers didn't matter at all. Because I actually, a couple times I went to them because they have an icon. And so I walked up and I was like, well, what do I do? And they're like, talk, and they'll just give me a stock line. And I was like, that's fucking it? What?
It's the invincible moves. That's the best part. You don't.
Right?
I couldn't agree more. Like the world is beautiful, and you do feel like there are parts where they missed the trees for the woods in that sense. Like they're so focused on fitting everything in there that a lot of the detail gets missed.
Yeah. Anyway, this sounds sort of
great.
like lukewarm, but like I cannot emphasize enough how much fun I had with this game. Like I really had a blast. Like it was the only game I was playing for quite a while because I was like, I'm fucking in.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, that's Cyberpunk. You should play it, Paula. I think you'd like it.
I agree.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I could in theory because my boyfriend has Steam and I could get it from his Steam library because we have like a family group thing going on. A Steam share, that's the thing. But I don't know, there's something about it that doesn't call me in a way.
Fine.
Like I like watching people playing it, but I don't feel like playing it.
Okay.
That's fair. I mean, if you enjoy watching it, that's all good.
Yeah, I might give it a try one day that I'm like, oh, I wonder what can I do, which happens more often that I care to share. And maybe I'll play it because I'm like, what else can I do? Oh, I can play Cyberpunk.
That is very fair. Well, if you do end up playing it, let me know because I want to know what you think of the game. Let me see. Oh, I've been doing a lot of Playdate because it's just been kind of fun, and I've been a little busy over the last like week or so it's been nice to kind of just chill for a little bit and pick up a little cute little thing once in a while. I will say that let me see here. Actually, hold on. Never mind. Well, anyway, week 4 of the Playdate was like bangers, big time, like very, very good and very fun. And I would even say like I have week 5 coming up here, which also look like they're going to be good. Okay, actually, one of them is very cool. The other one is a fun kind of arcadey novelty. I'll put it that way, where it's not bad, but I cannot see myself playing it at all anymore. I just went through each stage and was like,
all anymore.
Good. Yeah, exactly. There's my good grammar there. But the other one is like there's like one that does some cool stuff with sound and very good sounds too, which I liked. So yeah, really fun week there. I'm fucking digging the season of games thing. Like I'm really enjoying it. I kind of hope that they do this again in the future. Like I really hope there's a season 2 because getting 2 games each week, it's like the perfect drip feed. And it seems like, and I don't know if this is necessarily true, but like they'll have like one game that's like a little shorter or kind of arcadey, and then they'll have one game that feels like a little more involved each week, which is quite nice. In general, I don't think I've experienced any game longer than like an hour and a half or so, which I appreciate. I'm like, I come to my Playdate for some short, fun experiences. Like Bloom has definitely been the longest game that I've played, but it was also like probably the best, so that's fine. But I can see myself returning to a lot of these over time, and I've got so many. It's great. I also beat a little game called Life's Too Short, which was in the itch.io bundle. It's a little you play as a ghost. It's a point and click adventure. It's fine. It's kind of cute. It reminded me of like I had a Scooby-Doo Game Boy Color game when I was a kid that you had. It was like you like walk around as Shaggy and stuff. And I remember loving it. It was super obtuse, and I don't think I ever beat it as a child. And I probably will never beat it because it's likely horrible. But it kind of reminded me of that, though it is broken in the sense that there's a section with a dog. So this dog chases you out, but if you walk in and press right or left, you'll dodge the dog, and your Playdate will just say you have to restart. You get like a broken screen because you basically broke the game because the game doesn't think you should be able to do that. And then there's no saving, so you have to completely restart. And it's like a 20-minute like point and click, honestly. But it's annoying. Yeah, I was like, bro, you got to fix this shit. Like, I don't know. You got to do something. But I think it was like their first time developed, definitely first time on the Playdate. But anyway, it's cute. It's very like, you're in a haunted mansion, you're a ghost solving problems for a bunch of the weird monsters who live there. It's cute. Sketch, Share, Solve. 150 fucking nonograms, and I beat all of them, and it was wonderful. I love it.
Mhm.
I think you're able to get others, like you can download more because it's called Sketch Share Solve, but I don't know how. I haven't looked it up yet. Probably won't, because that is a recipe for disaster for Alex, because he'll play way too many.
Yeah.
So
Life's too short.
Exactly. I'm actively choosing not to, because I will play way too many of them. That's it for me. Just some Playdate and Cyberpunk. Rick, what are you?
Big completion week for me. Lots. And two long-standing ones. The first of which, let's get straight into it. I finally beat Days Gone. 2022 has been the year of just like big whale beats.
Yeah.
What a roller coaster Days Gone is. The final act, really good. Like, my main criticism of the game is that it takes about 25 hours to get to the good. Like, the game really starts to pick up and accelerate once the sort of mid-second act twist happens. And like I said last week, the twist isn't necessarily a surprise, but the way it's played out is, and the way that it's told enhances it. And where the story goes from there is very different to where you feel like the story's going initially. The story in the first half seems a bit aimless, but it actually finds direction at that point once it starts moving. The gameplay never particularly gets too far beyond fine, and that's a problem. The story is excellent, and I think talk of a TV series is probably well-founded, or at least if it's there, it's well-grounded, because there is an excellent story there and it deserves to be retold. One thing that was surprising and very, very disappointing is how good the hordes are and how woefully mismanaged they are as a gameplay system. So, playing the main path, you have to face hordes, I think, 3 or 4 times. The first time you fight the horde, incredible, because it's set up as this amazing thing, and you've got a new weapon that's going to let you fight them, and it's a real tactical, dragged by the seat of your fucking pants experience, because you set these traps, and then the way the horde is, it never goes to plan, and they find you. The game is definitely like geared for them to find you way more easily than they're supposed to, but they find you, and then you've got to run, and you've got to manage it while you're running away from them, and you're picking away, and you're picking away, and it feels endless until it doesn't, and then you've got this last 10, 20, 30 zombies, and you're like, shit, I can do this, and you start picking away, and you keep running, and eventually that horde is one zombie, and you kill them. And at that precise moment, the game feels like a 10. And then 2 missions on the trot, you have to fight hordes in different locations, and it's exactly the fucking same setup. And I was so disappointed. So it's like, man, that's not fun anymore. You can't just go again, but here now. So really, really frustrating. And that's right at the back end of this story, right before the final set piece, which is quite good, to be fair. And the story ties itself up really nicely. There's a real fun moment at the end that I won't spoil, that there was a bait and switch, and it was lovely. I can't recommend this game, but there were parts of it that I really, truly loved. And it's a real tricky one to decide how I feel about in totality, because the gameplay was middle of the road with some bright spots and some kind of low spots. It's worth saying on the hordes as well. In true open world minimap fashion, once you've fought the first horde, on your minimap it shows you all the other hordes, and there's a quest line where you just play and beat all the hordes. Which didn't sound like my kind of fun, so I didn't do it. I know people who did do it, because I spoke to friends who played the game afterwards, and they were like, did you beat all the hordes? I was like, did I fuck? And they were like, you should beat all the hordes. I was like, why though? You just should. No, you shouldn't, because they're probably the same fucking thing over again. That's
always
all I experienced.
The greatest way to convince someone. Why? Because you should.
Yeah, because I said so, dummy.
They just like roll like a -3 on persuasion right there.
There's greatness in there, and it's not managed properly. And as a result, like as an overall package, I think I gave it a 7, and I think that's probably about a fair reflection on the whole. There's better uses of your time, and that's the sad thing, because like I say, that horde moment, and there were a few similar type things where everything came together and I was having the best time. And then it all just fell away again. It wasn't able to hold itself together properly. And it's worth saying, even all this way back, obviously the game was buggy on launch. There are still a fair few bugs. I still had quite a few issues. In particular, one that made me laugh was one of the big, nasty zombies called Breaker that you only start to find towards the end of the game. Got stuck fighting an imaginary enemy on top of a car that he had no right to climb. And so I ended up just picking away at it once I'd beaten all the other zombies. It's like, well, this kind of breaks the immersion. Days gone and sort of forgotten. Yeah. Onto a way worse game, and I only played this because it was an Amazon freebie. I should say, actually, neither of you played Days Gone, have you? And I imagine neither of you are particularly inclined to.
Correct on both accounts.
Moving on. Golazo Soccer League is a game that Amazon gave away for free via Twitch Prime. It's a really, really bare bones arcade soccer experience. Not good. Don't waste your time. Go and find like the PS2 Sensible Soccer 06, which was quite good, or play FIFA. There. Next up, I finished Automaton Lung for the 3DS, actually, while editing, not the latest episode of the podcast, but the episode before, I believe, because I think that was my editing week. Yeah, there you go. Really good podcast game because it's kind of mindless and there's no story. And the objective is very, very straightforward, albeit it's not very well communicated to you. I don't know if I completed the game because I kind of rolled credits. And then at the end, on the bottom screen, I had Luke, I think it's Luke Thomas, the creator of the game. His name's in the bottom corner on a black screen. And then on the top screen is the player character in a ball of fire doing an endless spiral. And I left it for 5 minutes because I was like, I wonder if this is leading somewhere. I pressed all of the buttons multiple times. I don't know what was supposed to happen. So I quit out of the game. And that was my last experience with the title.
You're just like,
Yeah. So basically, like, there's a big overworld, and there's a place where you can play through 21 miniature levels with 5 objective MacGuffins to find in each. When you find all 5 in a level, it boosts your health bar, and that helps you when you're fighting the final bosses. You can tell this was someone's early stroke first effort at game dev. You can tell this was made to an excruciatingly tight deadline. And it's incredible that there is some fun in spite of all of those caveats. It's an interesting curiosity. If you've got a hacked 3DS, by all means, give it a download and try. If you don't, you are missing very little. I had an okay time with it. It wasn't bad. And, you know, there's a lot of redeeming qualities, but it wasn't particularly good either. And finally, and I literally beat this afternoon on the train home from work before we recorded, Live Alive. Great game. Like Days Gone, that final act's a doozy. Although it helps that the game before it is much better. I don't know how far you've got in this, Alex. Is it worth talking about it briefly now while it's here?
Maybe briefly. I've beaten all 8 chapters, and now I'm about to start
assembling the Avengers. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
So I've beaten that bit.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I'm curious, like, is it significantly longer after you beat the 8 chapters, or is it like, does it wrap up fairly quick?
It's as long or as short as you want it to be. So
Got it.
I don't think this is massively a spoiler. Like, I think it's obvious from the setup of the game that all 8 characters come together at the end.
Yeah.
Now, in that ending bit, when it comes together, you choose a character to play as. Now, without spoiling anything for people who are listening, if you play as Orsted, and you'll know what I mean by this, Alex, there is a different ending chapter. That's the one bit I've got left to do. I ended up choosing Sundown as mine because I remembered how powerful he was from the playthrough, and he is a fucking beast. There are optional dungeons for each character's bonus weapon, and you build a party of 4. Now, if you get 4 characters together and just go straight to Archon's Roost, you can probably blast through leveling in your ability to actually beat that last boss, allowing in maybe an hour. I ended up spending a third of my overall runtime, roughly, in the final area because I did 5 of the 7 optional dungeons. I found every character because that's the only way that you can get the best ending.
Gotcha.
I did a little bit of extra leveling in the town, and I did a little bit of harvesting for items and stuff like that. The game really comes together at the end. Once you've got a party of 4 with all their big skills and you're facing properly aggressive and actually challenging configurations of enemies, that's when the battle system finally starts to sing. Because I know we've both sort of said that the combat is good, but it's not fully utilized in the character chapters. It all comes together at the end.
Nice.
It really comes together, and the ending is probably the strongest part of the game. The story actually starts to go somewhere in totality, and I really love the themes they build on and what they're trying to say with the game. I really felt surprised by how well it found a voice at the end, and that was a real pleasant surprise. This is a great game, and I think if you're a fan of RPGs, this is a great one to go for. I think if you want to dip your toe into RPGs, I think there are better places to start. I think Chrono Trigger is the obvious, but you can't go far wrong if you try on this. I think it's user friendly enough and it's beginner friendly enough that it would be an interesting starting point. I think it's maybe a little bit like Undertale, but not in the same way, in that I don't think you get a full appreciation for the innovations and the things it's doing differently if you don't have an understanding of the genre beyond the game. That said, I think a beginner could get a lot from this game and still have a really great time playing it. I'm glad I supported this on launch. I think it's a really cool thing that they've gone back and brought this title out of Japan and made the effort to modernize it and bring it forward. And I'm glad that it brought it all together, because I was a little bit worried the final act might be a bit of a damp squib. I was worried that it might just be a throwaway thing, but quite the opposite. It feels like everything has led towards that point. And I'm going to go back and play the Orsted chapter, but I'm considering it completed for the purposes of what we're talking about here.
Nice.
This is another one, Paula, I actually think you'd get quite a lot out of, because there's a relatively heavy story focus. It's on Switch. I think that really is a boon for this kind of game. I think it's incredibly well suited to pick up, put down, particularly with being able to save anywhere and all of the quality of life improvements that they've made with the game as a whole. It was great. I loved it. I'm glad I played it. It was like, I ended up leaning on an 8, but it's a proper 8.5 out of 10 game. Yeah. And
I was thinking that Live Alive is one of the games that is currently like on my wish list. But currently, since there's others releases and stuff going on, like, and the prices of games have been like climbing like crazy, I'm like just waiting for a very steep sale, hopefully, before picking it up.
You'll probably get like a 50%. I feel like Squeenix in 6 months will probably put a decent sale on it, but
I think so. It's already not a full-priced game, so
yeah, it's like $34.99 on the eShop, right? I think I paid the same.
Oh, is it? I thought it was a full price game.
No, it's not.
Was there a physical copy of this?
Yeah, and
but it released again
price.
at cut price. I paid the same price as digital for physical. I might have even saved a $5. I can't remember. I also got a really nice bookmark with it.
Fuck my current, fuck my game store, because they led me to believe that it was a full price game because that's how they price it.
Oh, well, they're full of shit if they're doing that. I
mean,
I guess regional pricing differs. Like, I don't know, that maybe it is full price set by the publisher in that area, but I know it's cheaper here in Canada than a full price release.
And if you go on the US eShop, which I think is what you do a lot of the time, if I remember correctly, you'll find that it's not a full price release there either.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll wait for a sale before I jump into it.
Yeah.
Still.
Because whenever it goes on sale,
because there are still like way too many games on the backlog.
Oh god, I know that feeling. Switch is a fucker for it. Can we just take a tangent to appreciate how much of a nasty system the Switch is for getting you to buy games? Sometimes buy games again just because you want to play them on Switch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I bought Velocity 2X for the third time. I'm an idiot. I 100%ed it on Vita, and then I bought it on PS4 because I wanted the disc and the booklet and the director's commentary. And it was $2.99 on Switch. I was like, I guess I'll buy it a third time.
Oh,
I
no.
got realized 3 times because of the Switch. And completed it to 100%.
Nintendo.
I think I'm a little different just because I've been getting into PC gaming now. I'm in the opposite way, so I just rebuy them on PC at this point.
For sure. And it's the same thing where, like, to be fair, like, for third-party titles, non-Nintendo stuff, regular and deep discounts are common both on the eShop store and on Steam.
Right?
Doubly so, you've got, like, bundles and those options that you don't necessarily have with Switch. It's also worth saying my employer has an incentive thing where you can cash in points you get every month if you're hitting targets and things like that for things like Nintendo Switch vouchers.
Oh, fuck.
So I can't remember the last time I paid for a digital Switch game. It all comes out of my funny money points.
That's great. Good old funny money. Well,
so yeah.
I also like, I feel like 2K is trying to just like give away their fucking games because I think I own all of 2K's games on so many platforms and I don't think I paid more than $10 for it all. So I'm like, they just so many. Like XCOM 2 is just like, it's
complete for £4 on Switch. And I was like,
yes.
Go on, man.
Well, they're on Switch. And then also I got like the whole thing on like fucking PC for like even less than that. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I'm like, all right, I have XCOM 2 everywhere, honestly. I have XCOM 2 on like full complete on my PC, Xbox, and I don't think I bought it on Switch, but I could for $4 if I wanted. No, I think I do have it on Switch. Whatever. And I think in total, if I were to calculate how much I paid for all of them, maybe $10. So I'm like,
yeah.
Which honestly,
my dilemma now. Sorry, Rob.
That's it.
My dilemma now is I want to play a strategy game, but I'm spoilt for choice because I have XCOM 2, Mario & Rabbids the first one, Project Tribal Strategy, Tactics Ogre on PSP, which I still haven't started, and they're about to release the remake in November. And so now I'm like, well, do I rebuy it?
I wouldn't
or
bother waiting for Tactics. I'd wait for Tactics Ogre. I feel like any modern upgrades they bring will probably be worthwhile.
Almost none by the looks of it, because it's the same pixel art. Like, they're bumping it up a little bit, but I'd be happy to play it on PSP again.
Improvements, I think, is what's like
marginal. They're rebalancing the way that it's all working. It's probably going to be more grindy. So on the PSP version, your upgrades are per class, and in the new version, it's going to be per character. So you've got a little bit more granularity, but also it's going to take longer to level people up, presumably.
Wouldn't it be the opposite? Because per class, you'd have to, because you're going to have a level as a character, so you can switch out classes. So it's going to take less grinding because you would have to grind every single class that you switch to as a character. You see what I mean? No,
because it's class across the party.
Is that how that works?
So if you have 3 archers, their class level goes up collectively.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But now that class level is per character as well as the character's individual level, as I understand it. Right. I need to look back into.
That's also that's pretty classic now. Like that's what triangle strategy does. Like it's a per character sort of thing. Yeah. What I actually think it ends up encouraging is you using certain characters and swapping your characters out frequently, which is kind of nice. But anyway, whatever. I don't know anything about it. Who knows? I would recommend playing Mario & Rabbids though. It's extremely good and very fun.
I'm really excited to play it, but it's like, which one do I do first? Decisions. So I don't know. Anyway, I know what you won't be doing next, Alex. Yeah, I was going to say, let's have a look at the one retirement that we have this week, which is yourself.
Yeah, Civ 6. I don't like it. I grew up playing Civ 2. I loved Civ 2 and Civ 3 big time. I don't have the hours that it takes to fucking play that game. It's you know, I realized that they're kind of like 2 camps, right? Like grand strategy, I do enjoy some of them. But I'm realizing RTSs I enjoy more just because it's fast and I'm engaged and I have to move and go through. And like, yeah, it can be overwhelming, but it's also, I find a little more fun. I get bored. I can't wait that long. I think Civ makes perfect sense when you're playing against friends, right? I think that is its ideal best case use, where you're playing against a bunch of pals and you're swapping, you're waiting for their turn kind of deal. And then it's like perfect that way, I think, because you just come in, you check a little bit and you move on, right? But when you're playing it, like, I didn't even get like a quarter of the way through a match and it was like 3 hours. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is too long.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's, right? And it's just too finicky. And like, I don't fucking know what to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much shit in this game. There's just so much shit. which is awesome if you love it. But you're like, okay, I guess I'm gonna build a fucking monument. I don't know. Who knows what that'll do? And then you're like, all right, what district should I build? Oh, you're telling me I should make more cities every time I make a fucking city. No, I'm done. I'm checking out. And then anyway, I can't. And then because I got it and I have all the expansions, there's like so much extra shit in it now. There's like natural disasters and stuff. And I'm like, and then the problem is, okay, theoretically you could shut those off and just play the original base game. But the original base game is much worse because there's a lot of improvements and like quality of life things that are in the fucking expansions. So you're like, all right, I guess there's no option to just turn off some of the fucking more advanced features of this fucking thing. So now I just have to play with like a trillion rule sets that I don't understand. And what's the World Conference? What am I voting on? I don't even understand what's happening. You're just like, and I played through the tutorial. The tutorial doesn't teach you how to do much of the game. It walks you through like the basic button presses, but you're like, can someone just walk me through like management of my cities? Like, what am I trying to do right now? But like, I think I just have to go online and watch videos. And then I was like, you know what? I wanted to play a video game, not a lecture series. I'm done. I can't do this. So I just kind of checked out. Plus, it is one of those games that as you start it, like, it feels like you're staring down a tunnel of like hours and hours of your life that is just going to get poured into this fucking thing, and you're going to lose in the end anyway. And you're just like, I don't want to do that. I really don't. So I was just done. I hate waiting. Like half the time I just had to like press wait, skip turn while my fucking ship is like moving across the fucking, anyway, I'm done. That's my rant. It's amazing. Like don't get me wrong, it's obviously great. Like it's fucking Civilization 6, like they know what they're doing with their stuff. It's just that it's not for me, I've seen lots of people playing, like I think like the community plays Unciv quite a bit too, which again, like I said, that looks like it's probably a blast playing with other folk and waiting for turns, but not this way. Do either of you have much experience with Civilization?
Absolutely zero.
I have played Civilization. I hate it. I love tabletop the games. I don't think I play Catan, but I played another kind of like Civilization's battle strategy games on tabletop. And I have the patience for that, but for some reason, Civ 6 battle system is eternal. Like you have to wait forever for anything to happen.
Yeah.
And it's just not for me. Like I like the quick setup of other games. I like maybe the turns of other games, but like Civ just takes everything and just matches everything that I don't like. And give me a second.
Yeah.
Gotta say, you're both really selling it to me.
Well, no, I'm not trying to, but like it's like when I think of something like Age of Empires, it's like when you enter into a game, at most, realistically, your game will be about an hour long, right? Like that, and that's a long game. Most of the time, it's more like 30 minutes, and it can go shorter than that too if you're playing against like actual people. And to me, that feels great, right? Like it's a good amount of time where you're like, all right, you finish, you feel good, you're like, we did quite a bit. Civ, that game can go on for literal days. Like, honestly, because they're so long. And win states can just move so much, right? And like, anyway, I don't like it. But I'm glad I'm in good company here. So look, if you do like, if you do like Civilization, I would love to hear why or how or any fucking tips, honestly, that you might have, because I think there are a couple players. Like I'm pretty sure. I'm wrong. I think Froy's really good at it. I'm pretty sure he's played a bunch. I know there are people in our Discord community who've played a bunch of Civ, but
I think friends of the show, Dune and Abatage, are also on Civ players.
Yeah, I know they play Unciv. Yeah, which I don't really know anything about Unciv besides it being a like free source game of Civ, right? Like that's the idea, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Sure. That's it. Let's move. Yeah, Rick's like, I guess that's what it is.
And let's jump into a more fun strategy game.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Why don't you regale us, Paula, with what you've been playing?
Well, I've been playing a little bit of Age of Empires 4. Like, at most, I played like a unranked match. Sorry. Mainly because I've been doing other stuff that is game related but isn't quite playing games. wink to the topic.
Okay, now the topic makes more sense.
Yeah, but also because university is killing me. So there has been like a lot of stuff to do like in real life, so I don't have quite the same amount of time to play games. For the same reason, on Piofiore Faded Memories, I just began like to ending hand the other Nicola Francesca's endings, like the bad ending, the normal ending, and then I'll jump into Historia Triste, that is like the sequel to the bad ending. Prequel. I don't know if the bad ending has a sequel on the next game. I don't know. But at the very least, I want to do like I want to say like the happy ending chapter after the happy ending before I jump into another route.
Nice.
And another game that I can say, if you count as playing, moving like a couple of squares left and then having to do something else playing, is The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Moving on. The other game that I've been playing that I forgot to put in the agenda is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, because my nephew was on vacation like this week because Fiestas Patrias, and in his case, he had this week and not the last week that I have. And I promised him we played some Super Smash Bros. Ultimate online. The online sucks ass, but if my nephew is happy playing, even if it's over laggy internet, then I'm happy. And he actually won his first match against me like in a long time. So it's like, yeah, little one, progress and train, and then beat the master. Not that I'm too much better at playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, because, well, I actually can win against my boyfriend in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but I'm not like pro level player, so it's like an unbeatable thing. I just play for fun. That's the thing.
Don't we all?
And the other game that I've been playing that, oh my god, I hate my friends because they got me into another gacha game, is Guardian Tales for Android. They got, oh my gosh. Rick's humor is spreading on the cast. Like, we had it coming like,
I've been infected.
So why do I even start now? Like complaining now? And this is a top-down action RPG where you have your hero and a party with 3 other heroes, and you just go like stage by stage, like beating the monsters. But also, there's a lot of puzzle solving in this game where you have to like, I don't know, move blocks so you can press like certain switches at the same time. There's like the typical like torch or fire puzzles. There's also a thing with ghosts in the current level that where I'm at, where you have to like cover the line of sight of the ghost so they don't scare your party, and you can go ahead on the level. There's also like a multiplayer component, which I am not there yet, which is the Elysium, where you can play one-on-one against other players. And also there's like a guild system where you join a guild and you can like defeat like super bosses that are like that are like renewed with each banner. There's also 6 elements, which are water, fire, earth, and basic, light, and dark. And there's like 2 kind of like rock, paper, scissors, triangles of those. So basic beats light, I think. Light beats dark, dark beats basic. And then you have water beats fire, fire beats earth for some reason, and earth beats water. And that to my Pokemon trader brain just feels wrong because in Pokemon it is the other way. But anyway, and right now I'm at World 3 on level 2, which to you guys doesn't mean shit right now. But in the first world, you kind of like go through a portal and like get lost, and you have to rescue like the little princess, and then you have to go to the next world or country, and then you have to there's like a horde of demons coming, and you have to help protect a city. And then in World 3, you are in a. This is weird because we arrived to a magic school, and it is a haunted magic school. So you have to. What was the point of the game in this part? I think it was like there's a ghost problem here. We have to help them.
The point is to spend as much money as possible on microtransactions.
Here's the thing. This game actually treats you like a human being and not like a walking wallet.
Wait, I'm not a walking wallet?
Yeah, like
Jesus
it doesn't
Christ. Sorry, I just looked up
What?
the hours, like on how long to beat for completion. Do you just want to guess what the completionist hour is on this?
Oh God, I'm gonna say 4 figures.
It is. It has to be like.
Oh shit! Oh, that was tongue in cheek. Oh God.
Yeah, it's 1100. And now, listen, there's only been a couple in, right? Like, there's only really been like 2, so it could just be baloney. But 1100 hours and then 135 for main story. So this game never ends, does
what
it?
the fuck?
Yeah, like I think right now the game is still like ongoing in the sense that the story is still being written. Just like with Genshin Impact.
The fastest completion is 120 hours. That's the completion.
Oh my God, this is made by sorry, Paula, you've like unleashed something here, because this is made by Cacao Games, which I doubt either of you have ever heard of Cacao, but Cacao is the Korean messaging app. So like I have it because my partner is Korean Canadian, like her parents. Anyway, everyone who's Korean uses this app. It's like it's like WeChat or for like China, like or was it we anyway, there's
is it like Line for Japan?
Maybe, I don't know what Japan uses. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. But anyway, this is just funny. Okay, so this is like a phone company's subsidiary, and they're making games now. Wild. Keep enthralling us.
They make quite a few games as well. There's one. Okay, there's quite a few that I like the art of, which is no indicator of the game, but like,
hey, they might be good. I don't know.
They've got quite a few.
Guardian Tales looks cute.
It looks very cute, and it has like a lot of references to other games and other media. So, for example, there was like a character that totally doesn't have like a hoodie and a tunic like Link. And she was looking for the Master Blade on the forest. And something happened, and it was like stupid because we got to the Master Blade first, but then there was like an incident where the Master Blade broke, and the blacksmith that was like there at the time, which by the way, he broke the Master Blade, was like, hey, don't worry about the Master Blade. If you need to defeat the big monster, why don't you just use this? And he just gives her like a plasma gun or something like that, which is, and that I don't know in what energy it operates, because it was like a weapon of mass destructions, and totally not Link just said, yeah, this will do, thank you, and she just walks away. And there was like another reference that was to Dragon Ball Z, where the characters just went like not Super Saiyan and just started like those teleportations battles, and you just had to like hit them where they appeared before they continue the battle and destroy everything. And there was like another where there was a character who wanted to be like king of pirates, like in One Piece. So there's like a lot of references, and there's like a wiki full of them. And I don't know, it is a very cute game in general, because the story like makes no fucking sense in reality, but it just like it has like some very sweet moments. Like it's not like the story is actually like quite enjoyable, and it is like I feel like it is better than Genshin Impact as a mobile game, because Genshin Impact you can play hours like on the computer if you want to, but it doesn't lend itself as well in the sense of, hey, I'm just gonna play a little bit and then like go on with my day, or like I have 5 minutes on the bus, I'm gonna play like a couple of games. So in that case, Guardian Tales it lends itself beautifully to those like little pockets of time that I sometimes have. And also, if you want a certain resource and you have like a lot of coffee that is the stamina of this game, holy fuck, they give you coffee like, here's a cup of coffee. Oh, it is 12 p.m. or 12 p.m. a.m. It is 12 p.m. Here, take another like 500 cup of coffee that is like around like 4 to 5 stages depending on the cost of the stage. And you can just play for hours if you don't go farming resources. Because
it's free, Paula. Be careful.
Yeah, but still, I have a friend that has played this game for a couple of years now, maybe. And she's
Mother
the
of
one
all that is holy. I mean, anyway.
a year or two. I don't know for how long this game has been out.
No,
but she has played a lot of Guardian Tales, and she hasn't had the. She says, "I don't have the need like to spend a dime here. Like they really give you the amount of currency like just daily to do like a temple like every other day, and just for the anniversary they give you like a temple daily for a week. And if you don't, if you want a very specific character and you have very bad luck, you can just get the character with the tickets you get from the polls. Because there's a character that I've been trying to get all week, and I'm almost there with the tickets to get it like totally free. I don't have to do any shenanigans. It's not like Genshin when where the characters like are totally out of unobtainable after the 3 weeks they're on the banner.
Yeah.
And they get you with FOMO pretty much. And it's like,
everything you're
hey,
describing
you want
sounds like
this really cool Yeah.
It scares
Sorry.
me. It just scares me. I mean, it's great, but I'm like, this is why I can't.
You only have to play it a little bit every day for a week, and eventually they just give it to you. You know, you just have to cut your pound of flesh out every single day.
It sounds like a job.
Yeah.
You know,
they pay you at the end of the week. Like, you have to turn up every day, but at the end of it, you get it. There's no shenanigans, no nothing. Just go straight into your bank.
I mean, you just play the story and do the story. It's like, hey, here's a character. Take it. And it's like, well, that's the character that I wanted. I'm just going to keep playing the story because this is entertaining. That's the thing.
I hope it holds up for you, Paula. I'm glad you're having a good time now, and I hope it holds up for you. I look forward to hearing how it continues to go.
I really hope it's not like Genshin, which, by the way, the first couple of weeks playing Genshin, I was actually having fun, and then like they just blocked me from progressing the game and exploring more of the world. And holy crap, I remember now why I quit Genshin Impact. I just couldn't go to the higher level areas.
Yes, they locked it all up. I remember because we were recording the pod when that happened. You told us about that.
Yeah. Oh, Genshin Impact. They're trying to get at me. Like we let like a friend stay with us for a while, and they gave us a Google's Play Store gift card. So like I was putting it on my thing, and then suddenly Google was like, "Here's a free $20 thing from Genshin." I was like, "What?" And before I know it, it's installing Genshin Impact, and I was like, "Wait, no, I just want to put money on it."
Stop.
I was like, "Stop it! I don't want it! I don't want it!" And I'm like, I out of principle don't. So like again, I totally see what you mean. Like there's lots to enjoy, and even the one review on How Long to Beat says that. What is it? I love this. I played it for more than 1,000 hours, but for real, I think the gameplay and story are top notch. Also, in my opinion, it's one of the most FTP, I'm guessing, free to play friendly gachas on the market. So I see what you're saying. Sounds like it. It's just my issue, honestly. It's more just like when you play a gacha game, it just feels so, you know?
You know what they want, right? Like, ultimately, you haven't paid yet. You know what they want.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels a little bit like I'm playing it with a gun to my head, where the guy's like,
Yeah,
you don't
I get
need
that.
to.
I relate to that.
I won't shoot you. Yeah.
But we'll starve if you don't. I've talked about it on the pod before. Like, the South Park game fucking broke me at the end when they're like, you spent $0, and all the kids go off and, oh man, oh, we made no money off this. Oh shit, meh. It's like, yo, don't pull at me like that. That's not okay.
Yeah, like when I was playing Genshin Impact, I felt like that. Like someone was like, you can play for free. You don't have to pay, but we'd really be happy if you actually paid.
And see, that's why, like,
here it's not that way. Like, there's no pressure.
I still feel that though, because whenever I touch one of these free-to-play gacha games, I'm just like, I wish I could just pay for it and deal with it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because there is this assumption. There's that weird feeling of like, but like you should buy something, you know? Like, and that's just a me thing. I get that feeling whenever I play any of them. Though I guess you're saying this one has like the least amount of that, but I don't know. You're probably good at tuning it out now though, because you've played a fair bit of them.
Yeah, I'm good at tuning it out, and also I played a lot of. I haven't finished like Chronicles 2, and that has a gacha system that is like you can get them everything for free. You already paid for the game, but it's like you have to actually work for the crystals that you can get, and this is the easiest way for it to be done. Is like go dive at certain point, get the enemy out of the surface of the earth, and just like what was it, like chapel do the combo thing, and you get that crystal like 100% of the time. Still there, I lost way too much time just to get the crystals. Here, I just play the game, and it's like, oh, it seems that it's gacha time, because I play like 20 stage of the game, and now I have the crystals to go. It's not like disruptive
Yeah.
of the gameplay. It just encourages you to play the game. It's weird. It is very, very weird.
Well, they all want you in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Not for me, but it sounds like you had
fun. So yeah, that is me for now. Rick or Alex, any one of you want to jump in?
Go on, then I'll jump in. So what have I been playing? I'll be honest, like you, Paula, I'm playing the Minish Cap, but I've not really touched it. Like, it's there.
You mean
it's
Link to the Past?
Shit, yes, Link to the Past. I typed Minish Cap for something else. Minish Cap's exceptional. I love Minish Cap. It's like one of my favorite Zeldas that I've played. But Link to the Past, I have barely touched this past week. Railbound, I've been picking at. I've just gotten to the point where like you're in the puzzles where you start getting passengers. It's still good. I'm still playing more of it. It's still happening. Few new games for me now that my slots have cleared out a little bit. First of those is Void Bastards for PC. It's like a weird first-person procedurally generated roguelike shooter thing. You are a indentured sort of servant kind of thing. You've got to like collect scrap from the ships. There's like a galaxy map, and you move from different ship nodes. I've only played like an hour. The initial impression I get is that the systems are strong, and I like the vibe. It's got a very sort of British sense of humor, which is obviously working for me. I like the comic book styling. I like the cell shading visual sort of thing. Haven't had a lot of combat yet, but what's been there I've liked, and I can already see that it's building towards this sort of later game tension of managing your health along with various other resources, including your oxygen. It's not too aggressive on it yet, but I can definitely see where it's going. Then it might be down the line. Nice. I've picked Luigi's Mansion 2 back up.
Nice.
Really good. I've not played a lot of it yet. I played like the opening bit of the next level that I had because I played it for a little bit and then put it down. It's great. I like the setup way more than the original Luigi's Mansion. They've definitely been a bit more thoughtful about fitting it within the constraints of the 3DS hardware. Yeah, easy recommend for me as it stands. And finally, and this is a replay for me, and it's been a fun one to go back to, the High Moon Studios Deadpool game. from the PS3 360 era that then got a PS4 port in line with the Deadpool 2 movie and has since been delisted digitally. So I paid a little bit over the odds for the PS4 disc to play this again because I originally played a cracked PC copy and I felt like I wanted a copy of my own. The gameplay's pretty middle of the road. Like, it's basic light attack, heavy attack, dodge, but also you've got guns. It's functional. It works. The comedy is laugh a minute, and it's every bit as funny as I remembered it being when I first played it. I think it justifies itself by the setup and by the writing. It nails the tone of Deadpool. It does a little bit more in terms of deeper cuts from the comic book history and also the characters' sort of comic book canon. So in the game, he can teleport, which he couldn't do in the films for like practical film reasons. But that's a load of fun. And that's sort of tied into your dodge mechanic. Your dodge is a teleport away. Yeah, I can't necessarily recommend it per se because it's a bit tricky to come by now, but it's good. I like it. I hope they put it back on the store when they make another Deadpool movie. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers
I actually
crossed.
have that one on my backlog because I got it like a long time ago. Yeah, it was like a couple, more than 5 years ago that I got the game, and I paid maybe like $10 for it because I don't know, the person who had it didn't want it anymore, and they didn't know what they had in their hands.
Yeah, it's tricky to come by now. Like, there's quite a few like that, like Transformers Devastation, like really good games from that gen that just didn't have strong licenses and just fell away. Like Devastation's exceptional. Devastation's much better gameplay wise. Like the gameplay for this is fine, but it's not going to blow your mind. It's very functional. It doesn't really push the envelope, but it doesn't really have to because you're there for the character and the humor. And on that front, it absolutely delivers. And the gameplay is good enough to carry you from punchline to set piece to joke to cameo to character. I think my favorite part from memory, I haven't quite got back to it yet. There's a bit where you're flying with Wolverine and you both crash land and Deadpool's slapping him to try and wake him up and he keeps going. And it's this Stanley Parable-esque skit where there's just more and more jokes and he keeps slapping and slapping and slapping. Then once the jokes end, you can keep slapping as long as you want and you're just there and eventually he'll stop. You can go back and slap him some more. And it's just so on point in terms of the humor. I really enjoy the game. I like it. I enjoy the package. I enjoy the story and the comedy much more than the game. The package is great. And that's me for playing presently. Alex, why don't you jump in?
Hey! So to continue your trends, I have also touched Disco Elysium and nothing more. I booted it up and I moved a few feet and I was like, oh, I'm done. I love this game, but man.
Until next week.
It's so hard to get motivated to play it because I do a lot of like reading and talking stuff throughout my work. And so when I know I'm going to boot this up and I'm like, I know I'm going to go through like this whole, I have to think a lot and it's amazing, but it's a lot, you know?
It's work. Yeah. I get
it really is. And like, it truly is incredible, but it's just a lot. We kind of already talked about Live Alive. Yeah, I'm on this like, you know, final chapter essentially is what I'm doing now. Enjoying it. I think the Far Future is the worst campaign easily. It's just it's not even a campaign. You just move around and touch things. That's like basically it.
How would you rank the campaigns from worst to best? Because I think we agree that Far Future is the weakest. Like you can see where it was coming from, but it doesn't necessarily hold up near 30 years hence.
Yeah, let me see here. I gotta remind myself of all of them. Okay, so let's see. So we have Prehistory, Imperial China, Twilight, Wild. I think the Wild West was my favorite.
I agree.
Yeah, I really liked the Wild West.
Followed closely by the Middle Ages and then by Imperial China.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think I liked Twilight of Edo Japan in spite of itself.
Yeah.
Then the near future, then prehistory, then present day. and then the distant future. I think that's my order.
Yeah, that's similar to mine. Like I think I would be putting like most of those in the same, but I would bump the present day up higher because I did actually like that kind of boss rush learning. I liked learning their moves. I thought that was kind of cool. But I
felt very similar to like the far future. I think I liked the idea more than I liked the execution.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. The near future is like quite low on my list. I kind of enjoyed it a bit later, but to me, that one is like super uneven, wherein it has a later half that's quite enjoyable, and its first half is very. It's almost like the distant future, where it's just kind of go to this place, go to that place, go to this place a little bit.
A bit, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I would agree with you. I'd say like the list you gave, I wouldn't change it much at all. None of them were like terrible. There's just some that were like, that was just fine, right? And that's how I feel about things like the distant future. So anyway, enjoying it though. And I do recommend people try it out as well because it is pretty cool. Let's see. What else am I playing? Oh, I started Shadow Tactics, Blades of the Shogun.
Nice.
Yeah, this game's great. It's a... How would I describe this game? Like it's I guess it's like an XCOM, but it's not turn-based. So like, or I guess like maybe like Desperados, if anyone's ever played Desperados. It's a stealth real-time strategy game, I guess. I don't know. Or
it looks a little bit like Jagged Alliance, but with ninjas.
Yes, it is like Jagged Alliance. Except even Jagged Alliance has turns, right? There's no turns in this. It's all free movement. Like you're just going through.
I thought that was Jagged Alliance. I thought that was RTS as well.
No, Jagged Alliance is still turn based, and you have like movements. You have like a certain amount of actions that you can do. So think in XCOM, right? Where like you have in Mario Rabbids as well. Like you have a character, and all action will pause, and then you will have a certain amount of like action points, right? Same as the Wasteland series, that you can move, and then you can perform an action. Well, in this one, there's no, like, it's all real time. Everything's just going. Yeah, no turns at all. So you're just moving your characters around, and there's no pausing. So you can, and it's a stealth game. So you're trying to get through, because it's set in Japan, and like, I don't know if it tells you. I mean, set during, like, there are shogunates. So, I mean, that time. Like vaguely oldie time Japan, feudal Japan. And you have a series of 5 characters that you don't use at all times. Like they kind of mix them up as you play along, and you play through missions. Open-ended, super fucking great. I really love it. And you have this thing called like shadow mode. So what you can do is you can like hold shift, and time will sort of slow a little bit, and you can designate an action to one of your characters, and then switch to the other character, hold shift and do it again. And then you can hit enter, and they will just do all the actions at the exact same time. So you can set up some pretty cool things. Like, I've had like one guard staring at another guard, and I need them both down. So I, set my shadow for both of my characters to attack them at the same time. So they both are alerted, but they're killed right away. Right. So you're like, yeah. Whereas you wouldn't have been able to do that the other time. Right. And each character has like a couple different moves. Most of them, there's like a kill move. There's some kind of like potentially distractor. Yeah, like they have a special ability. Most of them have something that distracts or attracts the enemy. Some will have traps. Others might have long range things. Like they all have a very different skill set, right? And the way that I would describe right now, because I've now played with everyone, and essentially you have a like traditional shinobi who is like all about hitting from the shadows, can like climb all sorts of stuff. You have a samurai who's good at dispatching a lot of units at once and can carry heavy shit, but can't climb stuff. So like you're gonna have to help him get around things. You got one lady who's also kind of a shinobi, but she can put on disguises, which is dope. And so she can kind of walk freely. You've got a sniper who's awesome, as an old man. And then there's this like young thief who can set up traps. And the traps are really satisfying.
She can carry bodies, but not in the way the other characters can. So
she has to
it
drag
takes
them.
a lot. Yep. she just tracks them.
Mm-hmm. And that's the neat
and
thing.
it's slower.
Yeah, and you can hide bodies into like bushes and stuff, and bushes are your number one friend. And it's in an isometric perspective. It is very hard. And not like unfairly hard. It's just like it's hard in your brain because you really have to like look at the space and figure out like how the fuck do I do this? And it's super satisfying in that sense. But it's also, and I'm really glad it's in mission format, because honestly, after one mission, I am taxed. My brain is just like, oh, I need to lie down. You know? Because you've played this, right, Paula?
I actually haven't played this. My boyfriend has played is showing the game to me, and I just chime in here like here and there, like to say, hey, maybe if you do this, it will work, or like,
nice.
Or this idea might be good, and like, oh no, you already tried that and didn't work, and stuff like that. But it looks quite fun, like the way all the units feel very different to play as, but at the same time, they all feel viable in a way. Like you don't feel like you're totally stuck in this mission. I don't remember if there's like any mission where and the missions, like they are like handcrafted for each character. Like there's one of the missions where the young thief goes like somewhere, not gonna say where, and something happens and she has to do a thing, and it feels so different like to any other level where she's with the shinobi, because it takes into account what she can do and she can't do, or what she does best. And in that way, I feel the game is very balanced and very satisfying to play. Even though I haven't played it, it's just like it looks very satisfying to play.
No, you're
like once
spot
you crack
on.
the code.
Yeah. Well, exactly, because each level is really tailored to the characters that you possess for that level, which is what I think is so wonderful about it, is that they have 5 characters, but it's not like they're just throwing you into a mission. Like, I'm sure there will be a mission where you have all 5, but like they're not doing that from the outset. They're mixing the characters up based on story reasons. And I really love it because I feel like they're very gradually increasing your abilities with all of them. And like when you finish, they show challenges, and some of the challenges I'm like, how the fuck would you do that? Like there's some that are just like people can actually like go through a whole thing without killing anyone, get this mission done. I'm like, oh my God. Like it's just like, I guess you can knock them out. But if you knock, and this is something I do also like, you can knock people out, but if you knock people out in this game, they'll wake up. Like they're not just like knocked out and done. Like they'll wake up, because it's like to knock out a human being is to give them brain damage. So I mean, like they're not, you can't just like knock a person out for good. They're dead. So I kind of like that in terms of stealth, because sometimes there'll be civilians who are around and they won't attack you, but they'll alert enemies. So sometimes you got to like knock out a civilian so you can get by and stuff. And it's just like, yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool and fun. I would not in the slightest recommend this game on consoles. I think this would be horrific.
This is a PC game.
Yeah, it's on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, which is why I'm saying I do not recommend you do that there.
No.
Because you really need all your hotkeys for this. Like I'm telling you, I'm like hotkeying between the characters and like moving around and like moving my camera and stuff. I'm sure they've done a decent enough job, but because it's real time, you want to really make sure you're like good to go. So yeah, I like it. There's also an expansion that I also have, because this game was like bundled in just a ton of like Fanatical bundles, I think, and so like I just picked it up at some point and I was like, oh, give it a shot, and I'm glad I did, because it's very fun. So anyway, that's Shadow Tactics.
That's Shadow Tactics. Go play it on PC.
Yes, play it on PC. Oh, I also I just started playing Super Mario Maker 2 again, because this dude just released like a full fucking Mario game through Super Mario. Yeah, so it's called he calls it it's Mikey _Mike Super Mario Bros. 5. 8 worlds, like 40 courses or something like that. And it straight up, honest to God, feels like a Mario game. Like it is really, really good. I think I've beaten through the third world now. Like just released it today while I'm doing it. So I'm pretty sure Tiamat posted this in the Discord, so you can find the code there. But I'll send you all the code too. But it's really great because like they introduced the idea of like the super worlds, right? Like before it was just courses, but like Mario Maker a little while ago gave the ability to create like actual like worlds out of this. And so and the thing about this one that makes it feel so different, because let's be honest, most of the time when you play Mario Maker levels, everyone's trying to be shitty, right? And they try to make like these really like intense, crazy, impossible to beat things that are like super hard. But that's not the purpose of this at all. Like his purpose when he set out to make this, and he started this in 2015. So he started this on Mario Maker, the first one, and then transitioned over. It's been in the works for 7 years. And his goal with this was to like make something that actually feels like something Nintendo would put out, right? So challenging, but not unfair and clever, right? And it really feels like that. The levels are themed. The things that you could do, I admit, I had a very funny laugh because like I died at one point from something that I was like, that was actually pretty clever. And you know, you had a moment where I was like, okay, you've taught me not to fuck around like that. And I found out. So I'm like, all right, I will try this way. And just like, there are a bunch of different things where it has that, like Mario games at their best for me give me that sense of like discovery, but also that like, oh, feeling, right? Where like you do something and you're like, oh shit, oh look, that thing's there. And there's a lot of that in this, where it feels like every level has a ton of extra stuff within it. But you could just play through it fine and it's all good, it's fun. Or you can like try to explore a little more. And it's really neat because it feels kind of like a greatest hits in some ways because each level is different, right? So like some levels are with the original Super Mario Bros. Style, right? And then you have some levels that are Super Mario World, some that are Super Mario Bros. 2 or 3, right? And so like they uses all these different styles, and it's awesome. It's just awesome, and really fun. And I highly recommend playing it because you basically to me, it feels like this feels like the proper story mode for Mario Maker in a way. Like it feels like the obvious thing of where it's like, here is a full game made in it. Now, the one thing that kind of can suck is that obviously you can't carry over power-ups from other levels. So I think one thing that he's done to ease that problem is that there are a lot of coins in these levels. So you get a lot of lives racked up because I really think he doesn't want you to like die and like have to leave kind of thing. So like you can kind of go through and like it guides you through pretty nicely with that. So I do really appreciate that. And each level is designed in such a way that like it clearly knows you're not bringing a power up in, which I actually think in some ways makes it even more interesting because he can really curate each level. And then I know sometimes the fun of Mario is you gotta break them, but like each level is quite curated in what you'll receive and at what times. So yeah, I found that pretty fun. So anyway, I highly recommend people check this out if you have Mario Maker 2 and you want to play another Mario game. This is the one to do it with because it's just really good. It just feels like Mario. And that is the highest compliment I can give it because let's be real. Mario has a lot of innovation in it. And there's shit in this that I was like, I've never done this in a Mario game before. Like, honestly, I was like, whoa, I didn't even know that power-up existed. It was pretty fun. There's even some throwbacks to like Super Mario Land on the GBA. Yeah, because there are some of those power-ups and oh god, and the music because you can choose all the different from all the anyway, I'm really digging it. It's really fun. So that's it for what we've been playing. One thing that we should talk about. So as we all know, I won the 14th round of how long to beat the 4th round. Did I say 14th? Jesus, that's a little odd.
You did say 14th. I was like,
the
4th.
What am I missing? With the one, yeah.
The
1-4, right? 4.
Yeah. 1-4. Sure. 4. Damn it, Rick. 4. round of how long to be the game. No, this is the third round. We're in the fourth round. What is wrong with me?
Yeah.
Help me.
Yeah, I mean, it's the third. It's the third round.
Yes.
Version of the
It's the
game.
fourth round of the second version, i.e., the new format, the How Long to Beat podcast. And I actually checked. This is the last week of game week 1.
Yes. Okay. So now that we're all thoroughly
You
confused,
hosted one, I hosted one, and now Paula's posting one. But before we even go into that, we have a topic? Question mark.
We do, but I wanted to talk about this.
That, yeah. Oh god, we both fucked it up.
Yeah, we're all fucked.
Classic. Yeah.
So let's just take a second here.
Written content only on How Long to Beat podcast.
So because I won the last game, I got to choose the game that we're playing, and we voted between Resident Evil 2, Yakuza 0, and Crusader Kings 3. But we all gotta came to the decision that Resident Evil 2 is the one that is winning the poll and the one that we love the most. And so we're going to be playing Resident Evil 2, which I'm very excited about because, listen, y'all, you've never played any Resident Evil, right? And I think this is the best one to start with. I really do. Because I think as much as I love Resident Evil 4, I do really love it. It's a bit long and it's a bit older now. And I'm sure that the remake coming out is going to be the best way to jump in. But this game is like supreme. And I've already played it like 3 times. So what I'm going to do this time, because I am going to play it with y'all, but there's a VR mod that is apparently really good. So I'm going to do a VR run of Resident Evil 2, which I'm super excited about. And then I can't wait to hear what you all think of it. And I'm kind of hoping it's triple creature feature for Game of the Month. And Resident Evil 2 is nominated. So maybe we'll overlap and end up playing Game of the Month as well. Because again, there's 3 that get picked for that. So I feel like RE2's odds are pretty good. If you're listening, vote for it, but you probably won't because the voting will have already happened by the time this is out, so never mind.
I also need to quickly correct the record. I have, in fact, played Resident Evil Revelations for the PC and Resident Evil Deadly Silence, the DS port of the original.
Yeah, those don't count.
They kind of do, though.
They do a little bit. I guess
literally
Revelations
played the first Resident Evil on the Nintendo 3DS, on the DS.
Oh, there was the original Resident Evil was on the 3DS.
Deadly Silence is a port of the original.
Oh, was it good on there?
DS Deadly Silence. I mean, I guess so. I don't have a point of reference. I've not played it anywhere else.
Did you like it? I don't know.
It was fine.
Yeah, the first one's old now. Let's be real. I love it, but it's old.
Yeah.
You're gonna be Resident Evil 2 is way different.
I played the demo. I'm acutely aware. It's one that I was like, neat. I'm going to come back to this, and here we are.
Yeah, I'm so glad. And Paula, get ready for spooky times.
Scared.
Don't worry.
Paula.
I don't have a segue. We're just gonna move.
You know
right
what else I'm scared of?
Yeah.
Because for fuck's sake, monthly challenges are not my thing. And why is it important? Because it has to do with the topic of the week, game-related things that we enjoy.
Yeah, so I guess this is just gaming adjacent things, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So I was thinking about this topic because, in particular, I'm currently doing a challenge that involves Automaton fan art for an entire month, a daily drawing, and it is gonna be hell because I have never stuck to Inktober or like the other October challenge that I did last year. So this is gonna be fun. I don't know, guys. What game adjacent things do you enjoy? Like, before I have the conversation.
I mean, in general, I'm an art book soundtrack wanker. Like, I love the basic gaming adjacent stuff. And if there's like a collector's edition with those 2 in, I'm interested. Like, I love that shit. I've got quite a few art books, actually. I know downstairs I've got the Dragon's Crown one that they made with Udon. Really, really good. Collects all the art from the game, loads of extra stuff, sketches and animations and stuff. I've also, when I was playing Secret of Mana recently, I'd gone back through the Art of Mana book that they made. And that one's really cool because there's, prior to the, what's it called? Prior to the collection of Mana coming out, they've released it, so it was missing some bits and bobs. But for the most part, it's like all the games in the series, and they've got various bits of concept art, even for the different ports of the different games. with the artists with little notes under the pictures talking about, you know, a specific facet of the art or what they were thinking when they made this or what the process was like. It's really insightful, as well as having lots of cool art in there. Now, at the moment, real weird tangent, and one that I had no reason to bring up on the podcast otherwise. I was reading up on the Klonoa series a little while back, and it turns out, in combination with Udon, and I'm going to link this to both of you now, and I'm going to put a link in the file that we use to maybe go in the description when this episode comes out. There's a webcomic that like went alongside Klonoa. Like, for such a weird little franchise, it's easy to forget that they went hard trying to make this a franchise. Just off the back of how well the first game did, and then every other game they released did like middlingly to really well below their expectations, and as such, it never really went anywhere. But I like the game.
It is a full color webcomic. Holy crap!
It's full color. Like, it's made by Udon. If you look at the bottom corner, and Udon are like a big comic art book, like proper publisher for these things, and a not insignificant amount of work has gone into making this comic.
Yeah, it looks
like
good.
It's I've not been reading. I'm on like comic panel 11, but it's nice and the art's lovely, and there's just going to be a link down there, so go and have a look at that. Yeah, I mean, that's about as gaming adjacent and random as they come. What about you, Alex? Let's take this away from me.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit like, I mean, you all know that I have had a guides fixation after we talked about it for a little bit, but I got all the guides I wanted. So I do love those because I love looking at the art within them. But I'm also like, I think when it comes to gaming adjacent stuff, like, you know, I'm not really involved in any fandoms, I guess. Although, Paula, you pulled me into fucking Age of Empires 4. I watch Ozzy Drago's streams all the time now. Or his casts. Because I love that shit. So I am involved kind of in there. But actually, maybe that's the area that I'm the most involved in, is like video essay world, right? Like, that to me is like, and like watching like speedrunners, and actually one that I am big fan of is Tetris, like competitions. I fucking love. I don't watch them that often, but like when I can watch some of like the you know, good big games that are coming through, I'm really digging it. Like I've been getting into, I guess, like some esports, but often like slightly random ones. Like, I feel like I always kind of miss the big train of like the really popular games, which maybe it's also because I'm intimidated, because sometimes those have huge communities who like really know what's up. And so I'm like finding like some of these smaller ones are like a little less intimidating to come in and start enjoying. But yeah, I guess that kind of stuff I'm like a big fan of. And of course, I collect so much. Like, it's like the analysis of games. That's really my thing, you know? Like, I'm a fucking nerd, and I'm a huge academic nerd who loves to break down film and like theater and all that. Like, I was a director, right? My whole job is breaking down scripts and like artwork and like figuring out how it works. And so like I love reading like essays, like the boss fight books on like the creation of games and like all that background stuff, because it reminds me a lot of like the theatrical processes that I've gone through and like film processes and stuff. And so I just like learning about other artists and like how they work and stuff. So that's kind of my area, I would say, when it comes to like game adjacent stuff, that I'm just like, that's the shit I love the most, you know?
And it's interesting that you bring it up, because video essay stuff, it didn't even occur to me that that's gaming adjacent, but like it totally is. And it's a weird and wacky world out there. Like, for how eclectic his style is, it's mad that Tim Rogers is kind of the most middle of the road video essayist. There's some nut stuff out there. I remember a couple months ago there was that like mild controversy about, I don't know if either of you guys came across this, the suicide of Rachel Foster. It's like a walking sim game, but thematically it's pretty fucked up.
I have this game. It's on my list, and like I've heard that it's kind of messed up, and I was like, well, I want to find out for myself, I guess. So I'm gonna find out. But I've heard that it's kind of fucked thematically, I think.
Y2K is another one where it was based on like an actual person's disappearance, and the creator of the game like self-inserted themselves as like the person who saved this girl's life, and also the savior of the world, and also like the manliest man that ever did man.
It's a bit suspect.
It's a lot suspect. And the game apparently was dog shit as well, which, you know, doesn't help.
No, that makes it much worse, to be honest.
I was kind of aware of it because it was supposed to be coming to Vita, and then they dropped the Vita port, and then I forgot about it. And then a couple of years later, the video essay pops up on my YouTube recommended, and it's like, oh,
well,
fuck.
I mean, I'm glad, like, you know, Tim Rogers is my favorite, like, in terms of, because it's so, he does what I think I've always been looking for when it comes to video game adjacent things. My favorite video essay, like, for instance, Bible Adventures, the boss fight books. The reason I love that and Tim Rogers is because those look at games from a far larger lens than trying to be kind of objective and myopic about them, right? Like, I've seen so many video essays that analyze Super Mario 64 and talk about how it's good that I could probably write a master's thesis on that game just based on the regurgitated opinions that I've seen from others. And that's fine, you know? You got to kind of get to that point, right? Like, these games have to be talked about. But what I think is beautiful about some of, like, the things that Tim Rogers do, and I think in general people are moving more in this direction and they're feeling more free to bring up their just, like, human experience with art, right? And, like, how it affected them and why it affected them and why something resonates with them and how it intersects with other types of art and with games and everything, right? And, like, the reason I talk about the Bible Adventures one is because he talks about his, like, struggles as, like, someone who was, like, Christian, but isn't anymore. I can't even remember. But anyway, it, like, really hits on this whole, like, Christianity in the United States and how it birthed this game, right? And, like, the complexities of that. And so, yeah, it's not just some kind of, like, minute breakdown of the game itself, which is interesting and I do like. But it weaves in so much more to create this kind of interesting story. And that's the thing that I find, like, Tim Rogers does with his things. And I also fully understand if people don't enjoy his stuff because it's super long. And I'd be like, I get it. It's fine. I totally get it. But I love it. It works for me, you know?
And it's also like he has a very specific style and it's very meandering. And there's always an end point, but I definitely would understand if someone was like, just get to the point, dog.
Yeah,
like it's kind of the point, but also, like, is totally a fair criticism.
It's also kind of like the point of a lot of these games. Like, I find, like, all of his things are kind of structured in a way that reflects the games in some sense, right? Like, yeah, like that meanderingness, even in his, I've been watching through, the reason he's so on my mind right now is because, yeah, I did do the Cyberpunk, but I was watching his Boku no Yatsumi review that just
which
came
the time recording dropped yesterday. It was a premiere, so I was like, fuck that, I want to wait until it's 1.5 speed and I've got some time to play Rocket League with it in the background.
Yeah, I'm like halfway through with playing
games. I didn't notice a video yesterday.
Yeah, it's 6 hours and 40 minutes long.
Damn.
I mean, that's the mad thing. Sometimes the videos are, like, not longer than the games, but long enough to be, like, a proper experience in their own right. Yeah.
And
I watched the Tokimeki.
The Tokimeki
I watched
Memorial
the Tokimeki Memorial one, and it is very good.
It's like you play the game.
I have to get it. Huh? It's like you play the game, and it was because our friends sent the video to me because I was telling them, hey, maybe I will play Tokimeki Memorial Girl Side, which is the Automaton version of Tokimeki Memorial, and he was like, hey, before you watch it, or like even before you play it, look at this. And he sent me the video. It was like, holy crap, dude, this is like 4 hours and a half long, or like 5 hours. I don't remember how long.
It's like 5, yeah.
It took me weeks to watch it.
I do like 1.5 almost 2. But the crazy thing is, like, the production is also incredible. Like, you know, there's no, like, it's not half-assed. It's not just, like, random gameplay every time. Like, it's very specific, and I'm like, holy hell. Yeah. Anyway, that's my kind of gaming adjacent stuff. It's analysis, essentially. But what about you, Paula?
I enjoy a lot of stuff gaming adjacent. I really enjoy reading, like, through art books or like compilations of stuff where there's like I want to say, like, a process of design behind the thing. Like, hey, we have this concept art for the game. We choose this concept art because, hey, we like it more, or like we like this enemy design more because X, Y, or Z reason, and stuff like that. I also like reading like the comments from the producers or developers of the game, mainly because it gives me like a more insight on what gaming development is. But also, the number one thing that I do, besides being like just lurking in the fandom of the Otome community, or theorizing stuff on Zelda, or just like watching the videos about Zelda theories, because, well, the sequel to Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom is coming out, so my YouTube feed is full of just Zelda theories about the latest trailer, which was like 2 minutes, but who cares? They made like 3. There's a YouTuber that has already done like 3 videos on it, just out of those 2 minutes, and they're like 10 minutes each. Which, dude, how do you do that? The main thing that I like to do is artsy stuff. I like to craft and make stuff. So in particular, I like doing perler art, which is perler are like these beads that you put into a vase and then like just
over here. Yeah, sorry. Crack on. Sorry, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I just had a flashback to my childhood. I had these as a kid. Never made anything as cool as the Jack Bro that you've got on screen for me here. But yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. I completely spoke over your description, so tell the people listening what it is. Sorry.
Don't worry, Rick. Perler are like these little beads that are ironable, and you just like make figures over a board and then iron them out, and then you have a 2D art. So the people usually do pixel art with this. Though there are like very crazy people who do like big illustrations with just with pixel art, and I don't have the pages for that. But kudos to kudos to whoever does have the pages and the talent to make those masterful pixel art pieces in real life. The other thing that I do is just knitting or crocheting. And people on the comments can see it, but I have a little score bunny here. If you look at score bunny, I try to get as close as possible in the amigurumi.
Wait. Did you make that?
I made this.
The fuck? Damn. Okay.
I mean, on the shelf, it looks like a legit thing.
Sorry, I thought that was. Yeah, I honestly, it looked like a legit. So good job, because I honestly thought that was.
If you see the stitches.
I can see it. Yeah. Oh, you gotta put a picture in the, for the community, because that's impressive shit, girl.
I usually like crocheting and stuff like that, and the main thing that I do is just drawing fan art, or like. Once in a blue moon, I do draw the stuff that is like original, especially like because I either feel like it or like there's a copy award or any other kind of contest upcoming. But I mostly do fan art of stuff and post it, and like I just like to either post the stuff online like and get feedback for it, or like just go into other people's profiles and see what they do, because I like to see like, okay, what do you do? How do you do it? And if they have a video on how they draw the stuff, it's like, that's better. And in particular, I really enjoy drawing fan art. That's the thing that I do gaming adjacent, besides just. Oh, and I used to play a lot of Pokemon TCG. Right now, I'm in a not gaming related TCG, that's because the Leyendas, or Myths and Legends, which is a Chilean game, a Chilean TCG, which I highly recommend, especially the first block, because all other blocks are broken. So yeah, and right now, since I already said I'm working for an Automaton October thing, there's the thing. I used to take part on Inktober. That is like, okay, you have a prompt list for the month of October, and you have to draw like one drawing per day using just ink. And since Well, the guy behind Inktober isn't like the nicest person alive, and everyone hates him now.
Oh,
I
no.
just move on and doing like my own thing that is October since last year, where last year I tried to do like just ink, but this year I'm trying to do like mixed media or like markers and other stuff, where every day is Otome Day and you draw a character from a prompt list, which I have right here. And maybe, I don't know, who said it in this week?
You.
Because I would like to put a link in the script. Oh, that's me? Oh, perfect.
I was going to say, I've put a links thing at the bottom of the working document next to the timestamps just to make life easier for us.
Yeah, I've been adding a couple. But yes, it is your edit. So go to town, Paula.
It
Add
is
whatever
my
you want.
Yeah, so I'm going to add the prompt list, which, by the way, a friend helped me a lot to come up with the prompts. So this time is Pokeballs and Nisa's October Otome Challenge. But anyway, if anyone likes to draw and they just want a prompt list and they don't care about Otome, just take the prompt list and go with it. It doesn't matter if it's Otome or not. Just draw what you like, or and to have fun and stuff like that. So those are like, those are the things that I like to do in my free time related to games when I'm not playing games.
Basically, what we've learned today is we're all very obsessed with video games.
We have
Who'd have thought?
Yeah, who would have thought these video game podcast hosts would like video games? It's wild.
Crazy.
Well, tell us what your video game adjacent shiz is. I mean, who knows? There's tons of stuff. Maybe there's something we don't know about that we would like to do in the future. But until
I can't
then,
see it, but I'm not.
All right, let's play. How Long to Beat the Game? Where this is last week. So this is Paula's turn, I believe, to pick a game. And so essentially, we're going to receive a game title, and Rick and I are going to have to guess main time, main plus, and 100% off of good old How Long to Beat. And whoever gets the closest to the correct time gets a point. With a total of 5 possible points, because we have a bonus round worth 2 points, which is dealer's choice, as they say.
All of which to play for time.
Just randomizing these until I find a suitable candidate.
Oh, good. I can continue then. The current standings
go ahead.
are Paula's leading with 6. Rick is in second with 3, and I'm all the way down there with a 1. I didn't do great last week, but you know what? I won the last round, so I'm not too sad.
Wait, I forked this. Please continue making time.
Okay, very borked. All right, so I got nothing else, girl. I did everything. I think I explained it as well as I possibly can. It's been going good so far.
Okay. I have 2 options right now. I'm trying to decide. Okay, let's go with something you've never heard of before.
Okay.
And I don't know how it actually got into the... Oh, there's a lot of people have actually played this. Huh.
Anticipation's killing me.
Okay, so the game is, and I'm gonna post it on the chat because I'm gonna butcher this, is Katawa Choujo.
Okay.
Katawa Shoujo. Okay.
Yeah, this is the 4chan visual novel. It's kind of dirty.
Oh, okay.
Is it?
It's a shockingly good game considering its origins. It's actually a really nice VN.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's really highly rated.
It's highly regarded for a reason. It's actually quite a good game.
Wow.
It is a visual novel dating sim in which you pursue girls with a disability of some sort. That is a terrible description, but it is actually spot on.
It's a rough description,
it's accurate, but it's not the best way of. Yeah, I played this back in 2013, and it's good. There's no ifs or buts. It's a good game.
Nice. Okay.
You guys guess the times. I'm trying to think of a question that hasn't been asked on this extra bonus question. Which, by the way, I don't know which question would be quite entertaining.
I have no idea how long this game is.
I actually think I roughly remember, so I'm
just gonna be real here.
Quietly confident.
Yeah.
Doubly so now that you're saying you've not got a clue.
I really don't. I'm gonna throw a few guesses in here. So is this like a multi-route?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, multi-route.
There's like a few different girls, and each one has got their own campaign. It splits off pretty early, and then they've each got their own thing.
Okay, well.
So the whole concept, to give you a bit of background, like it's a school for differently abled people. You get squeezed in as an ordinary person because you have a heart condition. There's a girl that's in a wheelchair. There's a girl that's missing her arms who like is an artist and she paints with a paintbrush in her feet.
Okay.
There's a girl who's blind, I think. It's actually remarkably sensitively done. It's actually quite good. And you can turn the 18 plus bits on or off. They're not integral to the story at all. Like the story totally works without them.
All right, I'm gonna do something a little cheeky for my scores, which see if you can figure them out after. All right.
6 hours, 9 hours, 69 hours.
No, but that's not quite. But I have a slight strategy. But we'll see if it works.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. Okay.
You gotta think of
Let's
something.
go with.
That was more aggressive than I meant it to be.
How many people has this game on their replay tab?
On their replay tab? Ooh.
Yeah, the other option was try to guess which design I like best, but that would have been like too much.
I'm kind of tempted to write 69, but I don't know that it's.
So wait, hold on. Wait, what's the question? You're saying how many people have replayed it, or
have it on their replay tab, or like no, not replay. How many replays of this game are?
Okay. Because I was trying to think. I was like, can you tell how many people have it on a replay tab? Okay, how many replays are there?
Yeah, there's like if you go into the page, there's playing backlog replays, whatever number on replays.
All right. Well, I put mine in.
Mine's all in.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe I'll
Let's see.
Myself a little bit. So just to let you know,
Alex.
No, go ahead. I'll explain my system after.
Okay, so for the main story, drum roll, please. Alex says 8 hours. Rick says 8 hours. Oh, why are you like this? Guys,
we're not doing this again, please, we're not doing this again.
To me.
No, we've not done this again.
Yay,
don't lie to. Okay, so we both get that point. I've just got nightmares of the time that we both put the exact same things for all 4 possibles. Okay,
so for the main story, you both guys get a point, and you were like quite spot on because it is 7.5 hours, like just half an hour off. For main plus, Rick, you said 24 hours.
Yep.
Alex said 24 hours.
Take the piss.
Do you know what I did? Okay, hold on. I want to explain this a little bit.
So, because I'm worried you're about to say exactly what I did. Please don't tell me you're about to say 5 characters, 8 hours a character.
Yes, that's what I did. Because I thought 8 hours. My thing is, but one of them is the main character, right? So what I thought was like, okay, I was like, the traditional length of most games is around 8 hours, right? And I was like, in a visual novel, that would make sense. So I was like, if this is about dating, I was like, okay, it's probably 8. And then I thought 8 times, I don't know. So I went like 8, 16, 24. I was like, that's probably good enough. And then I thought, how many are total? 5. And I just did 8 times 5.
Okay. Why there's those immersion, guys. For 100%, you both said 40 hours.
Okay, yeah.
And it is 35 hours. You were
close. Okay, fair enough.
You were close.
We were close.
We were.
What's the replay? I gotta know. This one I just threw
Okay,
a number out.
for replays, Alex says 10 replays, while Rick says 11 replays.
Ooh.
And the point goes to Rick. He is spot
There
on.
you go.
There's
what?
11
11?
replays. Yeah,
Damn.
11.
What a weird
Just
round.
11.
There you go. Well,
Guys, please stop doing this. We cannot have like a decent game or a decent round if you just copy each other answers.
but I didn't know what he put.
I don't know. You share a neuron or something.
That's the magic
connection
of
got lost at the
HLTB.
last minute.
Wish I had brain. Honestly,
Oh.
it's mostly just because I think at this point we all kind of know, like, because when you said visual novel, I was like, all right, well, it's a dating one. It can't be that long.
At the end of the first game week, Alex has got 3 more points, taking his total to 4. Paula has no more points because she was hosting. She remains on 6. And I've leapfrogged into first place with 8 points after a clean sweep round. So that takes us into game week number 2. Are we sticking to like 2 total game weeks, do we think? So 3 more rounds of this and then whoever's...
I think so.
Yeah.
It would have been funny if I did nail that one, though. We would have been 666, which would have been perfect for coming into Halloween, but we're not.
We would have been 668. Oh, no. If you'd won, I thought you meant if you...
That's
yeah,
it would have been great. But that's all good. I'm happy I got 3 points. I'm satisfied with that.
That's fair. Playful.
Oh, God. Wow. All right. Well, there you go, folks. You just never know what's going to happen with how long to beat the game. I don't think we ever had all of them, though. We'd had 2 before, right?
No. We did one where we guessed all 3 of the times.
We did guess all 3.
Bonus round number the same.
Yeah. I got to throw
I'm
some more
certain
half
we did
hours.
exactly the same things for all of the things. I mean, we were one away from doing exactly the same thing this time.
Right.
I did think about putting 10 and I was like, let's not make it a round number again. Let's like nudge it up.
I should have nudged it up. That was my mistake. I shouldn't have made a round number.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always get nervous to do odd numbers because for some reason I just feel like round's safer, but it's usually not.
That's all your head. That's a you
my
problem
head.
as well.
Yeah, that's the strategy. I'm not doing the
all
right
in your
strategy.
mind.
Yeah. Well, at least
no.
I did it decent enough for the first one. That's so funny. I straight up was like 8 times 5.
Not only did we have the same numbers, but we got to them in exactly the same way.
Yeah, because I thought I could kind of divide for like the main plus. I was like, let's just do somewhere in the middle of that, you know? Like I was like, it's got to be more than 2, but like it can't be all of them. So I'm like, let's just.
I don't. I'm ready for bed. I'm done.
Jesus Christ. All right, yeah, and my dog's sitting at the front door. She's like, are we going to go play right now? What's up, boy? So I got to go take her out. Thanks for listening.
Folks. Touch some grass.
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly. Toodaloo, folks.
Peace.